Hello, I'm Eric Pettway, Chief Investment Officer at Journey Advisory Group. Welcome to CIO Corner. Since 2023, the Magnificent Seven has gained more than 310%, dramatically outpacing the broader market. Yet despite record earnings and massive investments in artificial intelligence, investors are becoming increasingly nervous. Why? Today we'll break down what's driving the recent volatility and what it means for long-term investors. But first, let's take a quick look at the markets. Last week, equity markets moved lower, with the S&P 500 declining 0.6% and the Nasdaq 100 falling 1.6%. Even with that pullback, the S&P 500 remains up 8.9% year-to-date in 2026. Developed international markets outperformed again last week and continue to lead U.S. equities for the year. This week, investors will be focused on the Federal Reserve meeting. Markets expect the Fed to leave rates unchanged, although the vote could be more divided than we've seen recently. The market is currently pricing in one rate cut before year-end. We're also in the heart of earnings season, with 27% of S&P 500 companies reporting second quarter results. Earnings are tracking at record levels. According to FactSet, the estimated year-over-year earnings growth rate stands at 37.9%. If that holds, it would be the strongest earnings growth since the third quarter of 2021. Chart of the week. Let's take a closer look at what's driving the volatility in technology and AI stocks. There really are three factors investors are focused on right now. First, investors are closely watching the enormous amount of money being invested in artificial intelligence infrastructure. Recent earnings reports have renewed questions about hundreds of billions being spent on capital expenditures, particularly data centers. While these investments may be necessary to compete in the AI race, they also reduce free cash flow, one of the key metrics investors use to value these businesses. Investors are ultimately asking a simple question: will these investments generate returns that justify the cost? Second, competition within artificial intelligence continues to increase. A Chinese company called Moonshot AI recently released a new large language model known as Kimi K3. Unlike last year's DeepSeek release, which raised questions about how efficiently AI models could be built, Kimi K3 is being viewed as a frontier model that reportedly competes with leading offerings from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Alphabet. Developments like these create uncertainty around who the long-term winners in AI will be, especially as several companies in the industry prepare for potential public offerings. Third, interest rates have moved higher. Interest rates have moved higher alongside oil prices and inflation expectations. Technology stocks tend to be especially sensitive to rising rates because higher rates reduce the present value of future earnings. We saw a similar dynamic in 2022 when inflation surged and Federal Reserve raised rates aggressively. Now, it's important to keep these concerns in perspective. Many of the issues driving headlines today are variations of concern investors have faced repeatedly over the past several years. Despite periods of volatility, markets have continued to deliver strong long-term results. As today's chart shows, the Magnificent Seven have been responsible for both some of the market's biggest gains and some of its sharpest pullbacks. Since 2023, the group has returned more than 310%, compared to a 68% for the Nasdaq and 68% for the S&P 500, highlighting both the opportunity and the volatility that comes with market leadership. History reminds us that transformational technologies create value over decades, not quarters. That's why maintaining a diversified portfolio and focusing on long-term goals remains so important, especially during periods of uncertainty. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. If you found this helpful, be sure to follow Journey Advisory Group on YouTube, LinkedIn, or your preferred platform. And if you have questions about your portfolio or would like to revisit your strategy, connect with your Journey Advisory Group team. As always, remain calm, stay focused, and most importantly, stay the course.